it's Holly, and in March I actually ended up doing 2 fireworks spectacular parties, and so I wanted to do 2 videos talking about those. So in today's video we're going to talk about the Enchantment dessert party. We specifically did the seats and treats version, and then in a future video I will talk about the harmonious dinner package at Spice Road Table. So at the end of this video I am going to talk a little bit about my own personal thoughts on Enchantment. This has become a very hot topic fireworks display, so I kind of wanted to put my thoughts out there. Anyways, so package details. Like I said, we did seats and treats, so that means that you go before the fireworks, you get seated at Tomorrowland Terrace out in like the front part closer to Tomorrowland. Out on, it was kind of like over by the water. There's a bunch of tables and you have food and beverages, and then you sit during the fireworks show and get to watch it, and then you can kind of eat a little bit afterwards, but they mostly take the food away. The food is mainly desserts. When we went, they had cheese and crackers, and that was really the only savory option. This was very different from when we did the Happily Ever After dessert party several years ago. There they had I believe cheese and crackers, cheeseburgers, spring rolls, and I think they had something else as well. There are tons of drinks, including alcohol. So you can get beer, wine, champagne. I think that was all they had. I don't know. I don't drink alcohol, so I didn't get anything. And then they have coffee, tea, water. They had like pog juice, which is all I drink. And then I think you could get some like pops and stuff. Oh, and they had sparkling like apple juice, which I did get. Like I said, it's at Tomorrowland Terrace, and the price tag is $114 per person. The process is you go and sign up. The time will vary depending on, or sign up, you go and check in. The time will vary depending on when the fireworks are going off that night. We happened to walk by Tomorrowland Terrace like an hour and a half before what we thought check-in was. They'll tell you a check-in time. And we saw people lining up, and we were like, oh, that's weird. So we stopped and asked one of the cast members, and they said, yeah, you can line up now. We seat you like first come, first serve. So we didn't really have any plans personally, so we decided to just check in and sit down. They just like line you up against a wall, so that we would hopefully get a very good seat, like a front row table. And the front tables at the terrace are all like 2 tops anyways, and there were 2 of us. This was a father-daughter trip. And then they let us in probably like 45 minutes, an hour before the fireworks. You get a wristband, 1 color if you are over 21, 1 color if you are under 21. That's how they basically know if they can give you alcohol or not. And then they seat you, and we actually did get right at the front row. I'll try to put in videos and stuff like that so you can see what our view was like, and also show you our food and stuff. There were quite a few desserts, and I thought that a lot of them were very good. My dad was super pumped to find a tres leches cake, because we had tres leches at Food and or Flower and Garden like the previous day, and it's like his new favorite thing, although the Flower and Garden one was better. It was good. I would have preferred, I know it's a dessert party, I know, but I would have preferred at least 1 additional savory item. They did have fruit, like fresh fruit, which I think does help. It's still sweet, but if for me that breaks up the like super sugary or artificial sweetness that you get in a lot of desserts. And while I like a good dessert, I can't just eat like as much desserts as I feel like you need to make this worth it. And like I can only consume so many cheese and crackers, but I can consume a lot of pog juice. So I would have liked something else, but again, it is a dessert party. So like, what do you expect? I think especially if it is an expensive event, I will tell you that. However, especially if you're going to drink alcohol, I think you could make it pretty worth it for you. Then when the show was going to start, they kind of dimmed the lights, and then we were right there watching everything. And actually Tinkerbell goes right over the terrace, so like she like flew right over our heads. How cool is that? That was so exciting. That was probably the highlight. I was so pumped to be able to see that. I think I got it on video. For the most part, could hear everything. I think that there was a little bit of an issue hearing the dialogue from the fireworks, but like the narration part. And obviously the castle is a little bit away from you, so it could be hard to see. I didn't have like the best visual of the projections on the castle, but for me, that's fine. As much as I enjoy those, I get the vibe, and it's a pretty fireworks heavy show, so it's nice to have fireworks. But I think it was a nice show, or a nice experience. So would I do it again? Maybe. I think it is a ton of money, and I'm not sure you get, I don't think you get enough for it. Like if you're trying to justify the cost with just food and drinks, I'm not sure you can really get there, especially as your party gets larger and larger. However, I think the appeal of basically being able to just go and have a seat to watch the fireworks is worth something. I don't know if it's worth $114, but I think it is worth something. Would I do it again? Maybe. I would consider doing it again if other people I was traveling with wanted to do it. But it is most definitely not something, or it's something I would do like every 5 years or something, just to check it out again. But it's not really worth it to me. Now, let's move on to Enchantment in general. My personal feelings on Enchantment, I've seen it twice now. I've seen it from like the hub area and then here. I have not seen it on Main Street. I do want to try to do that on my June trip, just to see the projections down Main Street and see if that changes my perception at all. For me, I personally find it a little meh. Like I would give it like a 7 out of 10. I think it's a good show. I love that there's more fireworks than I feel like there has been in the past. I do like a projection on the castle. I like a lot of the music choices, but I do think it lacks a little heart, which is a very hard thing to define. I know some people don't feel that way at all. I also think some people feel the same way as me, but it's because they have an unhealthy attachment to Happily Ever After. I said it. I really grew to love Happily Ever After, but I happen to remember when Wishes went away and people hated Happily Ever After, okay? Like, people hated it. And I remember not particularly enjoying it when I first watched it. But then I would like listen to the music when I was home, and I've been trying to do that with Enchantment to see if that's what it is, to like build that emotional connection to it that I eventually grew to have with Happily Ever After. And so that was part of the reason why after my first watching of it, I didn't want to come out and be like, well, I didn't really like it, because I remember feeling that way about Happily Ever After. But in the end, I loved Happily Ever After. I love Happily Ever After and Wishes both in two very different ways. I think they're very different shows. And also I saw them in two very different parts of my life. And so I have different nostalgia connections to them. I personally think Enchantment will be around for a while. I think a lot of people think it'll go away after the 50th. And they'll bring like Happily Ever After back. Maybe they will, but I don't think they will. I think Enchantment will stick around for a while, and I think a lot of people will grow to like it. I think it will grow on people, and maybe it'll grow on me, maybe it won't. I actually like when I don't like a fireworks show, because then I don't feel the need to watch it every time, and then I can go like ride rides. But that's just me. So yeah, I feel like it lacks a little heart personally. I think that there's no like thing for me to grab on. That being said, I think still having Tink is a great idea. I think that would have been a huge miss to not have her. I think she becomes like this emotional center point for a lot of people who go frequently to Disney. And seeing her fly, there is something very emotional about that for me, and so I am very glad she is still there. But yeah, that wasn't a lot of thoughts. I honestly don't have a lot of thoughts on Enchantment. That's how like meh it is to me. So that is my experience with the dessert party and my meh thoughts on Enchantment. If you've done the dessert party, let me know what you think. Did you think it was worth it? And I will see you next time. Bye!